Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have an update for the hashtag 365 days of eyeshadow for you. This project was started by Jessica, as I'm sure we all know by now, and I'm sure we all know her, but anyway, linked down below, as well as the other people that are doing this. And the idea is that we try and go through all of our eyeshadows, or at least 365 of them if you have more than that, throughout the year. One eyeshadow for each day. So in April I had 30 eyeshadows that I was trying to use at least once, and I managed to do that, only barely. I tend to, at the start of the month, be really conscious about incorporating some of them. Then I get really conscious about actually making progress on my Panda palette and my Panda's eyeshadows as well. So I lose focus a little bit on this project, and then at the end of the month I'm trying to make sure I still get to all of them. So I really like being able to use all my eyeshadows and playing around with them, but at the same time I find it hard sometimes to combine it properly with my Panda palette and my Panda's eyeshadows. So what I'm thinking about at the moment, I still have 31 eyeshadows for May, and then in June I don't think I have enough eyeshadows to completely fill June even, so I might wrap up this project then. Let me guys know what you think as well, because either I'm gonna go through all the eyeshadows again basically in the second half of the year, or I will be able to focus like a little bit more consistently on my Panda palette and Panda's eyeshadows. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, because I really like playing around with them, but I really like seeing progress on all of my other projects as well. So I don't really know what to do just yet, but I've still got 2 months to figure that out, I guess. Anyway, let's jump into the project. So the eyeshadows that I have been working on this time around were the 6 right here in my Circus palette, which this was really fun for me because some brighter colors to work with. It kind of like challenges me a little bit more creatively. At the same time I was working in my Oh So Special palette from Sleek on all the shades in here, and these were more neutral, of course, as you can see. So that was really nice as well, because these are really easy to incorporate with any type of look that I would be doing. I was also working on the 4 shades in my Sigma palette, or working on, I used them once, which are overall slightly darker shades, so that was another type of challenge as well. And then I was working, or I was using once the eyeshadows on these 2 rows right here in my palette, which had some warmer shades, which I'm always excited about. The eyeshadows in the Vice palette, quality-wise, are just really nice to work with. Most of these eyeshadows were pretty nice to work with, actually. The only ones that I struggled with a little bit were, let's see, I think the white in here is a little bit dry and hardly pressed, but I only used that in my inner corner, so that was okay. And then also here in this Sleek palette, the matte colors, and especially the purple, was a little bit harder to work with. But apart from that, like, all of these eyeshadows were really lovely to work with. Now let me show you what I have been creating with those eyeshadows as well. I don't have as many looks because I've forgotten to take pictures here and there, but let's see if we can take a look at what I have been doing at least. So I'm gonna move to the side so you can see the pictures here. The first one right here, I have the lightest shade from my Bourjois palette in the On My Brow Bone, Discreet as a transition shade from that Vice palette, blue from my Lush palette on the lid, and the silver on top of that. So that is all kind of like my usual Panda palette stuff. But then from the Oh So Special palette I put Celebrate, which is the purple shade right here in the crease to make it slightly different. As you can see in the shot, like, it was kind of darker than I expected it to be, because it looks more black than that you actually see the purple showing up very well. But it was still nice enough to work with. And then to help that blend out a little bit more easily, I put Pamper on the outside of it to like make sure it's not too dark all the way up until like I get to the brow bone part. So Pamper is the lighter pink shade right here. And then I have the black as an eyeliner and the white from Lush in the inner corner. The next look is a little bit more of a, I guess, vampy, smoky one, partly because of the lipstick as well, probably. This one, again, the Bourjois shade on my brow bone. Then I put the Male from the Oh So Special palette as a transition shade, which is this like brownish color right here, which is a perfect transition type of shade for me. The purple shade from the Lush palette is on my lid, and also there I put the silver shade on top. And then from the Circus palette I put the darker purple in the crease. So that is this shade right here. Then black in the outer V in the eyeliner, and the white from Lush on the inner corner again. For the next one, the lightest shade again from Bourjois on the brow bone, and here I put the yellow from the Circus palette in the crease as a transition. I think that really does show in this look, which makes it a little bit more interesting to look at than like it just being a green look. So the yellow is a transition shade. Then the green from the Lush palette is on the lids with the silver on top. The dark brown from Bourjois in the crease, and black as an eyeliner, and the white from the Lush palette as the inner corner shade once again. These were the few days before I was filming my Panda palette update, so you'll see that there is quite a bit of my Panda palette shades in these looks as well. But then all of a sudden we're at the end of the month, and I still try to make sure that I got all the shades in, so there is a little bit more shades from this project showing up in here. So for this look, I had Virgin on the brow bone. I put the pink, one of the pink shades, this one right here, as my transition shade, and I put Grasshopper from the Vice palette on my lid. And Grasshopper is this green shade right here. So pink and green, which isn't per se what I would normally put together. But then I put Boxed from the Oh So Special palette, which is the dark brown shade right here, in my crease, just to, I guess, make everything blend a little bit more together instead of it being a pink and a green. And then this is where I put the white from the Circus palette in my inner corner to make sure that I had used that one as well. Then the next look is another kind of pink and green look again. I have Virgin on the brow bone, and I put this pink in my crease as kind of a transition shade, I guess. And then I have Arctic from the Vice palette on my lid, which is like the other brighter green shade on the other side. So that is on my lid, and then I put Lady Jane from the Sigma palette in my crease, which is also the green shade. So this is a little bit more of a green look as opposed to like that brown in the crease in the previous one. And then I also put Virgin in my inner corner because I was trying to finish that one off. Then next we have a little bit more of a smoky but neutral-ish look. Again, Virgin on the brow bone, and here, and it doesn't even show up that much, but I put the red shade as my transition shade, and the red tends to lean a little bit more pinkish as well when you put it in the crease, so it's not like a full-on red, but it did give like a nice warm glow to the outside of the look. Then I put Robbery on the lid, and Robbery is kind of the light-ish shade right here. It's not a light shade, it's not a dark shade either, but that still works like okay for me on my lid. And I put a darker shade in the crease again, and this time that was Glitz from the Oh So Special palette. So that really made it a little bit more smoky altogether. Again, Virgin is in the early corner, and I used the black shade as a outer V and eyeliner here as well. And then the last one is kind of a smoky look again as well, but this time it's more of a blue purple one. I still have one shade left to use, so I went ahead and put I Got the Blues from the Sigma palette all over the lid. And of course Virgin is my brow bone highlight again. And because I had the Pandora's Pan update coming up as well, I put 1985 from the Vice palette, which isn't in this project anymore, but I have it here, so why not show you. That is in my crease, and I used the yellow from the Lush palette kind of as a transition shade to help everything blend a little bit more. And apart from that, black as an eyeliner and Virgin in the inner corner again. And this look I really liked. It's not something I normally do, but that is, I guess, the fun thing about trying to incorporate shadows in your looks a certain amount throughout a month, because you might have to be a little more creative to make sure you actually get there. But yeah, that is all the looks. I'm gonna switch back to the middle. Let's take a look at what we're gonna be working on next month. 31 shades for me to work on. First off, I got two little Catrice palettes around here. One is like a dark brown shade. Help, I'm Stranded is what this duo is called, and I'm gonna try and see if I can switch that. It's a little bit on the drier side at this point, but that makes it quite easy to incorporate with a lot of things because it doesn't get too dark, I guess. And then we have the Seasons Must Have as well. And those are the shades from the Seasons Must Have. We've got like the lightest shade right at the top here, then the gray right underneath. This is the dark purple shade, and this one is that tealy, like mint greeny shade, which also isn't showing up the best. But yeah, these are slightly older palettes and the shades are, I guess, drying out a little bit in there, which is okay. It just means that like they're, like you need to build them up a little bit more, but they're not like unworkable, I guess. Then we have the shades from the Body Shop. This is the Shimmer Cubes palette in 06. And we've got the shades Honeycomb, Dark Chocolate, Marshmallow, and Chocolate Chip, which I think is kind of how they're in here as well, but you can take them out and put them back in, so sometimes I don't really know which one is which anymore. So these are those shades. So I think this is Honeycomb, Dark Chocolate, Marshmallow, and Chocolate Chip, but I think that these two might be the other way around as well. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, all kind of shimmery shades. And the Catrice ones have 3 matte shades in them as well, so it's a nice mix in that sense. Then we will have a little bit more shimmery shades because this is the LA Colors Enchanted, right? Enchanted palette, which is all green shadows, as you can see. I didn't put this in yet because there were quite a bit of greens in the Vice palette the last time as well, so I thought I'd keep this one for this month instead. I was trying to see, I'm gonna switch those on my hand. Okay, so some of these are showing up quite nicely and some of them kind of look the same, so I'm curious to see how that's gonna look on my lids later on. But these are the shades right there. So this one is a nice like brighter green. This one is a more like grungy army green. This one is a little bit darker as well, and then these two look very similar in my swatches and both don't show up very well, which might mean that they're like a nice buildable lid shade or something. But yeah, I have not used this palette a lot. I ordered it online and then realized that actually it's kind of, the shades are a little bit too close together in a way. And then lastly, I'm going to be working on the Urban Decay shadow box. I rolled Sin into my whole collection project pan recently, so I thought it made sense to work on this one since I'm working on it anyway. So let's swatch all of those as well. In here I've already hit pan on 3 of the shades, so I'm like familiar enough with the palettes. I'm trying to figure out where to swatch all these shades right now. So these are all those shades. So we've got Sin, Indo, and Bordello. And Indo and Bordello I've already hit pan on, so I'm familiar enough with those. And then we've got Tornado, Smog, and Blackout. I think Smog is in the Naked palette as well, possibly. Sin as well, actually. Then we have Flash, the purple over here, Mushroom, Lost, Free Love, which I have hit pan on already as well, Moonshadow, and Baked Cowboy. Baked Cowboy is a really nice golden shade, which I always like. These ones are definitely the more pigmented shadows from this whole bunch of swatches, but yeah, I think it's a nice mix of kind of, my swatches all are over the place. It's a nice mix of kind of like lower end and like better quality. It's still not like full on high end, I guess, Urban Decay, but yeah, looking forward to work with them. I think it's a nice mix of like neutrals and some brighter shades again, some darker shades. So I will have to play around with them a little bit again to make sure I incorporate everything, which is gonna be fun. Yeah. And that is it for today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Bye!